We're live. What do you say, lady? We got there in the end.
Hi.
All right. Let's see. I'm not seeing any chat. Let's see. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, everyone that's here.
Everyone that's here. Let's find out if anyone's here. Does it seem like we're in the right place, doing the right thing?
Are we in the right place?
Okay. There's a little delay.
Yeah, we're live.
But we're live? Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, I should say. I am so sorry about that. We had a bit of a mishap. Well, she didn't. I did this morning. Good morning, Donna. I'm glad you're there. Sorry for shaking things up on everybody. I came to the workspace. You can sit on my lap. It's all right. Came to the workspace and ended up packing this one's computer for good morning, Karen, for her school stuff and all the stuff I needed to finish the kits that are going out today and all that stuff. And I forgot the crucial thing, Mama's Computi. So I was in a super good mood when I shot back for that. Good morning, Cindy. So it's a different time, so different people can tune in. We're just running an hour late today. We'll see how it goes. I'm always fooling with the time anyway. I'm here with my assistant and my great love, Jocelyn, the pattern designer. Good morning, Connie. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. So we're going to have a good show today. Even though we're at a weird time and I'm all shaken up and drinking beer already in the morning, we're still going to have a good show, right?
It's not exactly what it is.
It is. It is. It's all going good. Okay. So do you want to say anything to your fans today before you run off and finish your work? This year, if you remember, Jocelyn designed the iconic jam sandwich, right?
Not this year.
Well, it was in 2020. She's absolutely right. It was in 2020. You created the iconic jam sandwich, and so many people have bought jam sandwich, have hooked jam sandwich. People have bought the jam sandwich shirts, and your other one, Hookers Are Hot. Brenda bought a Hookers Are Hot shirt. She says she wears it in bed. She thinks about you. So what are your plans for 2021? What are your sort of design ideas at this point?
Design ideas?
Yeah. Where's your head at with your next big design?
What do you mean?
We'll think about it in bed when we do our matching nail polish again.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll develop your dog, your hound dog, into your next big design.
Oh, my sushi dog.
Sushi dog. Maybe we'll do that next. Do you want to say bye to your viewers?
Bye.
Go do your schoolwork, honey. I'll see you in a few minutes. Well, good morning, everybody. I almost got in trouble again last night. I'll tell you, it's such a crazy world. I feel like I'm a fairly uptight person, and yet I don't think of things that I guess are obvious. Like, I did a show yesterday on nudes and rug hooking, and I would never have thought that that would be a problem. But I did have a bit of a problem in the evening. YouTube sent me some nasty grams, and they were going to shut the video down because it was explicit, SE-actual material kind of thing. And I was just like, you have got to be kidding me. So at the end of the day, I was able to appeal it so that we still have part one of this series, because we've been looking at the book Barely Hooked, which is far from explicit. As soon as I got this email from YouTube, frustrating enough, I Googled, yeah, you can be there. I Googled like Botticelli, and of course all kinds of nude paintings came up. Hey, Catherine. All kinds of nude paintings came up from art, as you would expect. You often get nudes in art. So I think it's all okay. I'm going to continue with our plan of doing part two this morning, but I wanted to share a couple of things with you first. Bits and pieces. You can be there. Just don't be disruptive. She's rarely disruptive. I don't even need to say that. She's such a good girl. Sorry, I'm grabbing this thing, getting right in your snout.
Did you say I'm a good boy?
I said you're a good girl.
Oh.
You're a tomboy, but you're a good girl. So I want to update you on this Garrett Blue Nose pattern, the 3 bears. I told you yesterday it was on eBay. It was about to close at $115. It stayed at $115. There were no further bids on this one. So, I think it was a good one, and it was a good price for people who wanted the 3 bears. This one was a little less colorful than some of the other ones we've looked at, but I will always, when I pull up some of these really well-known Garrett Blue Nose patterns, hey, Linda! Hello, both Lindas, Linda B, Linda H. I'm so glad that you were able to come back on. Thank you. But I'll always show you the Garrett Blue Nose patterns, the one that we have talked about in the past and that we know and are at sort of the front of our minds. I'll always let you know what's going on with those. And I found something else on eBay last night. It is not... Hello, Teresa. I just heard a giant... did you hear that? Yeah, hopefully Godzilla's not in the next room, ready to put his foot through our ceiling. I found something else interesting, not in my price range, maybe in your price range. If it is, you should get on it. A Hutchinson rug appeared on eBay last night. It is $6,500, which I think is not outrageous for such an important rug, plus $75 for shipping. And I'm going to show you the rug, but remember when we've done a couple of segments on, hey Katie! We've done a couple of segments on the Hutchinsons because I love them as a couple. I love their sense of humor. I love words and rugs. I love so much of what they did. And at the time that they were doing it, between like the 1920s and 1940s was their height. They did so many hundreds of rugs. They didn't hook them, they designed them. But this one is really funny, and it's really indicative of one of their favorite subjects, which is in-laws. You know, handling in-laws in a not very nice way. So the text on this one reads, "In-laws are rodents in human guise, who eat me out of cakes and pies. O'er the hill and vale and rivers and ruts, they gather for dinner. I hate their guts." So it's very direct. This is it. $6,500 plus $75 shipping. This is a Hutchinson rug. So there's not a lot of people walking the earth who can say that they have a Hutchinson rug. For me, the subject is tough with this one because it's got a bit of a funny but nasty sentiment. But look at the way that these characters are hooked. Isn't it curious how some of them have like no pupil and others do? They're hooked so differently, but I love the way the Hutchinsons do. This is really suggestive of their work if you ever see something that you're questioning. And, you know, the wording is always in the same font, of course, but they usually outline people. So that's one of the sort of things to look for. But in reverse, they do this kind of intaglio, reverse outlining in other places. Here he is. The guy's shoulder, see the lighter shadow in the shoulder? And then on the turkey and the dish have been defined with a lighter stripe rather than a darker stripe. We tend to, and you tend to see most often in rugs that are very graphic and very cartoony and have that kind of element. Good morning, Kathy. Good morning, Penny. Oh, that's okay. I just started. It's my fault completely for being such a turkey today. But with the Hutchinson rugs and with any rugs, you tend to see if someone is outlining, they outline throughout, and you get that kind of stained glass look. But with the Hutchinsons, they were very different. They did a lot of outlining to define light against light. You know, they did so much with people. They had to figure out a hack for making the people's face tone stand up because they did not want a shade and shadow. Way too labor intensive, and it certainly did not fit the style of this. So it's funny how they figured out ways to make all of the main elements pop. In one way is doing the dark outlining, and the other way is doing like the reverse, the intaglio, which is the light on dark, just the opposite of what you would expect, still shaping in the same way. Really interesting and really curious. So I wanted to show you those two things. I wanted to show you this too. Remember when we did the Pearl McGowan book? Oh, thank you so much, Katie. Remember we did this book for such a long time. We were in the covers of this book for a week. This is a double, by the way. I think I have triples of this. If anybody needs this book, I'm going to put it up on the site for $10 free shipping. Send it off to you wherever you are. This one's in like pristine condition. But the lore and lure of rug hooking. We looked at this for a long time. But I just wanted to tell you, because I was on eBay. Oh, Jennifer, thank you. Thank you so much. I love these rugs too. As soon as I'm more confident with the camera, I'm going to show them to you. And you know what I don't love? I hope that you do this too. I hope I'm not the only person in the world who does this. Do you see the pink that I painted this room? Pepto-Bismol pink. I was in love with it when I bought it. It cost a fortune to buy, like gallons of paint. Nobody could talk me out of it. I had to have the Pepto-Bismol pink, and I hate it. I hate it. So it's going. I'm going to leave it on one wall to do videos, how-tos, but back here I just can't handle it. Give me a suggestion for a better color. My brain doesn't work, and I always go for the gold and choose the color that I couldn't possibly use at like in a living house where other people are. And I chose the craziest one, and I hate it, but I also love the rugs. Thank you so much. So while I was on eBay, I happened to find another couple very interesting things. Somebody listed a bunch of Pearl McGowan patterns that I haven't seen before. I mean, I've seen some of the patterns, but I haven't seen all of them as patterns. I've only seen them in books. And this is one of them because we looked at this book, but I didn't show you this pattern, I don't think. Although I may have on that cocktail night that we took our trip around the Mediterranean. We made the different stops in Marrakesh and where else did we go? I can't even remember. We went to Egypt. We went down the Nile. We ran around the Mediterranean and into Italy a little bit. I might have stopped here. But I'm not sure that I showed you this rug. Let me make sure the picture's good. This is really different for Pearl McGowan, and this is certainly her sort of Asian influence, right? When she used to take her trips to Asia and she's drawing and sketching, she's got sort of the Greek key going around the edge. But this is even more Eastern, like where the inspiration for this one's coming from. The reason I'm bringing up this rug is because the pattern, I'm probably going to lose some people right now. The pattern is available right now on eBay. I forget how much it was, but it's not a lot. It's on burlap, so you're going to probably want to trace it to transfer it. Please do not ruin your original, no matter what anybody tells you. Keep that original pearl burlap, but trace it and put it on something a little bit more. Oh, you do that too, Jennifer. I'm glad I'm not the only one. If you end up getting this one, or there's other ones that are sort of in the Asian style, that era of Pearl's interest and inspiration, it's very hard to find them as patterns. So if this moves you at all, go on eBay and get it before somebody else does, because you will not see this one again in the next years. I can almost guarantee that. This one is called, it's number 725. It's called Oridono. And this particular one was hooked by Julia McGuire of St. Petersburg. She's a teacher. Remember, this book is mostly students of Pearl who have become teachers that are doing these. And she says, upon entering the Oridono Silk Museum in Kyoto, Japan, I was spellbound by the rich yet subtle colors in beautiful brocades and silks. Almost simultaneously, House Beautiful featured Japanese shibui effects, meaning beauty unobtrusive but interesting, beckoning you to look deeper into its hidden qualities. That was a very succinct way of saying that, which gave me the inspiration for developing this design. So this is a straight out, she went to Japan, she did this design, it's part of her life, it's part of her story, it was part of her memory museum, things that she loved, things that she drew. And if you pull this rug up on eBay, make sure that you click on that button that says other things that same seller sells, because there are other ones that are very, very, very unusual. Again, ones that I've seen in books, but I have not seen offered ever as patterns. So take a look at that if you're interested. This one is also in the same book that I kind of bypassed last time, this bottom kitchen one. It's in black and white, so it's not going to be a great photo. I was hoping Caprice was going to be on, because this one's called Kitchen Caprice. And I realized, I think I've shown you this, but I realized I have Kitchen Caprice. So let me show it to you. This one I should list too, because Kitchen Caprice is just not for me. I'm pretty sure I showed you. This is done so differently than the one that you just saw. And the person who did this also bound it already. So it's easy peasies. Let me see if I can back up. It's upside down. Back up as much as I can here. It's a fairly big one, but you got all these elements like the copper mold, the glass, the shaker. There's some stuff upside down, some stuff right side up, measuring spoons. This is my favorite element. This, the sort of shortbread roller, bean pot. I mean, it's really, I can't get too much farther back, but I'll take a picture and I'll put it on eBay. It's the same rug, Kitchen Caprice. It's really pretty, and this one's only missing the salt shaker, like the whole outside is done, so you would use a salt shaker, and then it's missing that square and the top of the teapot. So it's mostly done. It's a nice rug. I just know I'm not going to finish it. It's cut to looks like 3s, and this has already been worked on burlap. So you would keep going on burlap. There's no holes or anything like that. You know, when you get a rug like this that isn't finished and it's on burlap, and you've heard all those terrible things about burlap, you know, it still makes sense to finish it on burlap, doesn't it? Because if you have some kind of a catastrophe while you're hooking the last bits, especially when somebody's put that much work into it already, if you have that kind of catastrophe, you can just do that thing. I'll make a video of it where you put a piece of backing fabric behind it and then hook through the 2 layers. And that gives it support. It fills in holes or places that are about to break. It's not hard to do. And there's no reason to expect it immediately to like atomize. It's in fine condition, and it's a thing from the 60s. So always think about that. Oh, good, Joelle, you're there. Good morning. So those are things that I found this morning. So let's return. I had such mixed feelings about returning to this, because you know how I get so upset and triggered and emotional and crazy when things happen that are sort of out of my control with the channel, because I feel like I don't do a lot of naughty stuff, and I was just thrown for a loop that looking at the pictures in this book. I mean, yesterday we looked at the Modigliani, and we looked at a Matisse, and we looked at Adam and Eve, and none of them obviously were outrageous if you saw the show, but it's all calm now. Luckily I appealed, and they made the decision that I was not doing explicit outrageous things, so good for me, right? One more day of normalcy before I crack. Carol, I'm going to send you this book this afternoon, so I have your copy. So let's look at some more of the artists who are in this book. If you haven't seen yesterday's episode yet, oh, good. It is really fun, Catherine. It's really fun. And I forgot to say there is a CD at the back. So that's like a DVD, not a CD, it's a DVD. So that's going to be an interesting thing to watch too. I haven't watched it myself, but my friend Brenda wrote last night, "Hello, Anne," and she said it was great. So this was just a whole experience. All of my knowledge of this book comes from Michele Micarelli, and her great sort of remembrance of working on it, and the two things that she has in here, and then the special party that they had when the book came out. So I'm very glad that the video is still out. But this book is about sort of self-visualization, and there are some hooked nudes in here. So if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, I gave this sort of disclaimer. I think we're all grown-ups watching this channel, but it's a PG-13 episode. There are some semi-nude, we're talking about hooked rugs, and of course, this is a branch of art. That's what got me so upset last night, was thinking, oh my gosh, you can Google Botticelli, you can Google any Italian sculptor, and there is a lot more than what these rugs show. And it gave me that kick in the gut feeling that, like, rug hooking is not taken as seriously as an art form as, for example, painting. And that's just where my brain went. So that's where, like, my emotions went too. You loved the book in yesterday's episode. Good. Me too. I'm very glad it's still up. So let's look at some of the other ladies who contributed to this. They're all magnificent artists. And I love the little bits and pieces that are in the back. So Diane Learmonth, Learmonth, has a lot of work in this book. This whole page is going to be, is going to be her work. Let me just show you a few of them. It's like, for you too, I'm sure the same. You really connect with some people's work more than others, and it doesn't mean anything is bad or good or less or more. It's just like her work really struck me as being amazing. So this is one of Diane's. These are not, as far as I could see, titled. Let me see if Diane had an inspirational quote. She said, "My work is colorful and honest. It is what it is." I like that because they're all nudes of herself. So the phrase, "it is what it is," has many meanings, but I can really identify with it. So here's this one she did that I think is so super great. I'm going to stand up so I can see too. So again, remember yesterday we were saying there was a real strong Matisse feel, very shape-driven graphic feel. I think part of the reason is if you were to do a nude in great detail as a hooked rug, I mean, it would be gorgeous. It would be stunning. It would be soft. It would be tender and sweet and gorgeous. But I think in terms of doing a self-portrait, not everybody is so bold that they want that kind of detail. And when you're using a graphic style, I think a lot of people think of Matisse and Chagall and people who have done shape-driven work in the past, painterly work. So I don't know if you can tell, but the bottom of this is done in denim. So it's like she's wearing a denim skirt or something. She's got her purse. It's very shapy. She's done some tropes of traditional rug hooking, like the scrolls. There's scrolls on two sides. But then in the background, it's very almost like Mondrian, like very shapy. And she herself is a wonderful shape, more of a Picasso shape, right? And here again, look at the way she's done the outlining in black, but then on the inside, rather than keep everything black and graphic, she's gone to a flesh color to outline. I think that is so clever, so clever. And no eyeballs again, like, going back to the Hutchinson rug we just looked at. I think it's so clever. She really, really has gotten some of her own sort of character or personality into this rug. I think it's gorgeous. I really like that one. I'm not sure that is meant to be her, but I love the character. Whoever it is, I love the character. This one, again, is Diane. This one is so different. It's so different. Now look at some of the stuff that's going on here. Oh, okay. What are you all talking about here? The size you want to start? Okay. Okay, Penny, you have the Sissics, and I love it. Haven't heard anything about Disney. They were during the height of 2020, the bad stuff. They were not producing dyes, I think, either at all or quickly enough for the supply and demand that was there. So a lot of people were saying in the Facebook groups, oh, they're not doing it anymore, it's all over. If you have it, you know, bummer for you, you're not going to be able to get any more dyes. That's not the case. And from what I've heard, they are supplying again. And so it shouldn't be a problem. 6 is a great one because it's right in the middle. I have a 5 and an 8 in the Sussex, and I use them both a ton. And I just want to remind you, if you are using the Sussex cutter, only use wool with it. Because unless anybody knows otherwise, and if you do, please tell me, educate me too, because I am not an oracle by any means. I don't know of a way to clean the Sussex dye because it's like a tray with foam, and when you press down on it, you can feel all the parallel blades under it. I don't know that it's possible to sharpen the blades of a Sussex. If it is, please let me know, because I am very much in the habit of anything that I question at all in terms of cutting. If I question that there's any chance there's anything in there but wool, I run it through my Bliss or my Fraser, because I know I can get other heads for that. I know I can sharpen the heads for that, but I don't put anything through the Sussex that isn't absolutely wool, because if you dull those blades, that might be it for that tray, you know. So this is Diane's next one, and again, just crazy different. Do you see, I've got some sunlight in a bad place here. Let's try this. Do you see how the character who's in blues, right? So this is a little bit Gauguin. This is a little bit Van Gogh. This is just different. This is so different, right? I love the body shapes. I love the pose. Typical of a sitting model, right? In like a still life class. Absolutely beautiful. Look at the expression in the face. Look at the detail in the palm behind the potted plant, and in the hair. My hand's kind of covering there. But then look at, she's got that just bare piece of wool, uncut, but really tacked up in a way that is really effective, like the character, the model is sitting on a blanket. Now, you don't often see somebody using wool that way, you know, not stripping it, not using it as a proddy shape, just the piece of wool. You rarely see that. That's almost like an applique aspect to this particular rug. I thought it was so different, and the color so different. If you're going to go with like a lime green, a purple, and then like a squash yellowy orange, you know that you're hitting all the sweet spots on the color wheel, all the opposites. You're getting that triangle. So you know that it's going to be at least striking. But that one is so well hooked that it's got a lot of things going for it. This is another one of Diane's, and again, very graphic. I don't know. I'm so drawn to looking at her work for a while, you know, over and over. This is Atlas, right? It's a female Atlas. And I love the idea of that. Atlas, of course, is the character from mythology who literally has the weight of the world on his shoulders. And a lot of women feel like this. I felt like this morning when I was packing up the computers and forgetting stuff and driving all willy-nilly all over the place. But everybody can identify with this feeling, and it's something different. These are really pretty, right? These are all Diane Learmonth. So it's very graphic in the background too. She's got kind of a crazy quilt. Now this is just an excerpt on the other side here. She's got kind of a crazy quilt background going. She's got it compartmentalized like stained glass or a quilt, patchworky, and then she's got the black outlining like lead in stained glass, and she's got it all hooked. Slightly different colors, but we're talking mostly black and white. And again, that might be symbolic for her that the character is very muscular and has these very organic, round splashes of muscle colors and skin colors, but yet in the background you've got a very flat, very geometric, very kind of cold black and white mashup. So just different. All the different things you can choose, right? So interesting. Hey, Jody! Oh, I'm so glad you're there. So that was Diane too. Now this is another one. This is the last one of hers that I'm going to show. I think it's just exquisite. This is, I think, my favorite one. I love this one. Remember we were saying yesterday, if you were to hook something of yourself for this book, Barely Hooked, you would expect it to be at least a partial nude. And how would you handle it? How would you go about it? Would you do something with, with a model laying right out, you? Or would you do something that was more like this, sitting in a chair, kind of leaning forward, maybe catching the end of a TV show before a shower, before bed, something like that. Let's see if I can get it a little bit closer. Come swooping in. But again, if you remember the one that was kind of the lime green color with the squash, there we go. that had a lot of detail in the head and hair. And I think she's doing the same route with that head and hair. There's a lot of detail. And then she kind of pulls out on the detail with the body, which of course is all flesh color. But you can see she's got a lot of detail. She's got the cross of the necklace. She's done a lot with graphic lines in black. And we've already seen this artist do graphics with other colors, like the flesh color. So the fact that she's come back to black and white with this must be a very specific choice. I think it's just gorgeous. It's an irregular shape, too. Think about that when you're planning your next pattern. If you would like to do something like this, that's what do you call something that's an irregular shape? It'll come to me. It's got one of those great geometry words. But then look at the way, she's got the crazy, crazy hair. It almost reflects like thoughts. And then she's got the grid of the window behind. The chair that she's sitting on is like a tweed. It's exactly what you would expect a chair to look like. Oh, the fingertips are red. Good one. Catherine, good spot. That is really good. There's a little color in her body. I'm not going to say any words that might get me in trouble. There's a lot of color in the face and head. What does it mean? We've got the window pane in the background, and then she goes to that beautiful gray on gray rug, and then underneath that, maybe it's a different piece of furniture, really colorful floor, like carpet. What word do I want? Carpet, rug. I should know that word, right? But it's so different, isn't it? Just different. And a rhombus, Katie, thank you, thank you. Whew, I'm just going to take a quick swig. I don't handle stress well anymore. So that was Diane Lehrmonth, and just different. Again, there's a lot of artists in this book. If you're getting it, if you just got it, if you're about to get it, I'll just show you this. I'm going to show you a couple more artists, but lots of this kind of thing. Collages with lots of characters that are pulled from the different rugs in this book. Ray Reynolds Harrell. She put together quite a few beautiful collages that that one was face. There's ones that are like feet or hands, and they're like 2-page things that you can just look at. And it becomes a new work of art, like a montage of everything that's in this book. So, really exciting book. Lots of artists in this book. I'm not doing spoilers because you're seeing a fraction of what's here. It's a big book. So that was Diane. Let's look next at Michele. I love Michele. I'm going to go see her on Thursday. She's got 2 pieces in here. Let me show you. I'm going to show you at least one. Michele Micarelli is like, one of the icons of rug hooking. She is just over the top amazing. She's always been sort of a renegade. She always does her own colors, her own dyeing. She loves doing the fancy fibers, mixed media, the beads, the surface stuff, the glitter and glitz. She loves that stuff. She's very sort of fantasy. She loves women-driven stuff. She loves a strong female central character, so it's no surprise to find her in this book. She's just an amazingly fun, laid-back person, and I really love her and her daughter. But anyway, so let's look at a couple of hers in here. Let's look at least one. One of these, I've seen one of them on in our house quite a few times, and I love it. This one here. This one I'm going to take off the thumbnail because this one could get me in a little bit more trouble. So she is all about body. She is all about, remember I was talking about the mammogram yesterday, breasts. She loves going over the top with the female figure. And it's just who she is. She's fun. This is a self-portrait of her. And this is called Afternoon Delight, as in the song. So I'm not going to go any further with that thought. It's just a funny and a gorgeous piece. Let me see if I can come a little bit closer in focus. Let me move my beer. My beer is causing some grief. Let me see. Try this again. She's got so many colors in the background. So there's some cleavage there. I mean, she is covered up after all. But, and do you see all the bling she's got in there? She's got beads. She's got bling. She's got such a beautiful studio. One of these days I'm going to have to do a video over there so we can walk through her studio and look at all the stuff that she's got out. She does such colorful work. The piece she's working on now has her daughter-in-law in it. It's a circus piece, and it's just like my favorite one so far. Trapeze artist and tattooed person, and it's just super vintage looking and just bold, like these are bold. This is her other one that she shows a lot. This is in her house right now. Absolutely beautiful mermaid. This is an enormous rug. So she's got this sort of fantasy element. She's got the scrolls. She's got the serpent. She's got all the things that Pearl would like, I think, in this part of the picture. In this part of the picture, I'm less sure, but I think Pearl would like all the scroll work and the shading and all this sort of correct hooking. Look at the busyness of the seaweed at the bottom. I mean, it's just an extraordinary work. You just catch your breath when you see it because it's completely amazing. I should talk to her about whether we want to put like a little exhibit up or something. Look at the bling that the mermaid's wearing. Her necklace, the snake thing around her arm, the headdress. It's just gorgeous, right? It's just let me just show you a couple more before we close. I'll whiz through these. So let's see. I don't want to whiz though, do I? That didn't sound quite right either. So let's look at this one. Jewel Marie Smith. Now, Jewel Marie Smith was the teacher at the Vermont rug hooking. Oh, I got to show you this. That triggered a memory. At the Vermont Green Mountain Rug School. Remember in the rug hooking article yesterday about Adam and Eve, how the author of it was saying that Heather, that she was just out of inspiration with Eve and Adam was lost like to the world, and she ended up taking a class at the Green Mountain Rug School. That Pearl McGowan book that I was just showing you, I found the receipt for the Green Mountain Rug School in it, and I found this cute little recipe card that says Amy. I'll cover the name just in case you know who it is, but my favorite part of this recipe card is it shows Amy's name, and then the most important thing, the phone number for the booze store. So whatever was going on at the Green Mountain School, whenever, this has got to be the 70s, I think, or something like that, maybe the 80s, but was a lot of fun. So Jewel was there. She's one of the teachers there at that time. And her piece, I'm going to end on this and then we'll start with finishing this book tomorrow. The piece I'm going to show you, she has two pieces in here. One of them is quite famous that I know you've seen in most of the new anthologies and Rug Hooking Magazine. Let me show you the one called Leaving Eden, because we did so much with Adam and Eve yesterday. And I was still thinking that story through last night about finding Adam in the end. I just love that. I love stories like that. If you have stories like that, let me know, whether they're firsthand or not. If you can remember a story that was great that you heard somewhere, word of mouth, oral history, please let me know so I can relay it on Coffee Time. I love these kinds of interesting stories. What is the name of the Facebook group? The Facebook group is called Rug Hooking and Punch Needle Club. So that's our group there. Now this is the one I'll leave you with because it's another great Adam and Eve. And again, this is Jewel Marie Smith. It's a large one, as you can see. I've got it over 2 pages. I'm hoping it's in focus. But you've got some of the elements that we've seen before. We don't have sort of the God in the heaven element, but you've got like some animals poking up. You've got the crow and the lion. You've got maybe that is supposed to be God in the center there with as a younger man than we saw in the last rug, with the dove of peace, with the knife. There's a lot of symbolism, and obviously Adam and Eve are feeling a bit of shame at this point and looking to exit the garden. So, and again, with something like this is a super primitive rug, and yet, there's a lot of detail in here. There's a full story in here, and you do have the same tropes as we see in other places. A little bit on the ethnic side too, which I really like. The scrolling reminds me of the gravestones that have the angel wings in them, and then like the little triangles, a bit more on the ethnic side. So just a super, super different and fun composition. Isn't that different? I really love that. So that makes 3 Adam and Eve rugs that we've looked at in relation to this book. If you know of any more, let me know, because it's so nice to put together a collection of one subject, like Adam and Eve rugs. We've seen the Noah's Ark rug, the McAdoo, and a lot of other rugs that are like Bible related, but the Adam and Eve story is so central, right? And with our subject right now, looking at women and how women view their bodies in this book, Barely Hooked, it really fits in. So anyway, I'm sorry about the delay today. I won't do that again. I always take my computer home because I'm afraid the place is going to get robbed or something, and it's a nice computer. Thank you so much. But anyway, have a great afternoon. I'm popping orders out like crazy. There's about 10 or 15 things going out right now. Have a great afternoon. I will be here on time. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow is our Zoom day. So if you would like to talk with me and not hear from my mouth, then we can be together tomorrow, same time, 11:30, same time as usual. 11:30 Eastern Standard Time, and I Zoom between 11:30 and 12:30. So I'm going to set that up now. I'm going to put it up in the Facebook group. But if you are not on Facebook and you would like to Zoom, whether your camera is on or not, whether your house is messy or not, whether you are working on rug hooking or dishes, it doesn't matter. You can still join us and listen in or share or ask questions or whatever you want. So if you are not on Facebook, you can write to me at ribboncandyhooking@gmail.com, and I'll send you that Zoom information. Have a great day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow.